they had thought the Lions had a flawless decision-making process. Then came the pick heard around the world, at least in fantasy circles, with the Lions taking a change of pace running back Jahmyr Gibbs at number 12 overall. Especially eye-opening after they gave David Montgomery real money and free agency, a legitimate contract, one that says he's going to have a role and be around. Just what is the sense around the team about how these touches are going to be divvied up in this backfield? Is it as similar as Gibbs? Is it as simple as Gibbs sliding into the DeAndre Swift role and David Montgomery sliding into the Jamal Williams role?
No, I think it's going to be more than that. And I think that's what intrigued them by kind of the shakeup with both, because while Jamal Williams had that awesome season last year, I think 16 or 15 of those touchdowns came within the 1.5 or 2 yard line. I mean, David Montgomery's got a lot more elusiveness to his game and gets the chance to play behind an NFL offensive line for the first time in his career. So that could make a little difference right there. But I think we've already seen it through the spring and the offseason program that Gibbs and Montgomery shared the field. When Montgomery was healthy, he got nicked up a little bit, but they were sharing the field a lot more than we ever saw with Swift and Williams. So I think that's going to be a different thing here, because I do think the Lions are viewing Gibbs as so much more as a running back. We're seeing him in the slot. We're seeing him line up in the backfield with Montgomery and go out wide. So I think it's going to be, and it's at its core value, it's going to be like that. They're going to have those similar core functions, but I think you're going to see a lot more sharing the fields, 2 running back looks, getting Gibbs in there, even when Montgomery is out there.
We think it'll be Montgomery near the goal line in a role that produced 18 touchdowns last year. I wonder if the Lions offense can run as hot as it did last year, but do you think it'll be Demont at least in the Jamal role around the goal line?
I do. He's the guy that I keep pointing to is like, this is his breakout chance right here. Like, and not just like that's a really nice season for him. Like, oh, this guy's legit. Like, he gets to be like, that's not just this offensive line isn't just good. It's got a potential to be one of, if not the league's best. And it's a group that hasn't played a regular season snap together. So, I mean, I just think he is someone, he's going to get most of those goal line looks. There's not much of a competition, in my opinion, at least for those looks. I mean, there's, like you said, that this is a team that ran for a lot of short yardage touchdowns. And I mean, double digits seem very, very, very within his grasp.
You mentioned, how the backfield might be divvied up. I think a lot of people in the fantasy community are sort of writing off David Montgomery's pass catching role or pass catching ability. I think, traditionally he has been used more as a pass catcher than Jamal Williams has, especially in Green Bay. Do you think that role will also be split between him and Gibbs, or do you see Gibbs really just taking over there?
I mean, Gibbs is going to get the DeAndre Swift level of targets, if not more. But I do think, that was another thing that really intrigued them. I mean, Jamal Williams was a non-factor in the passing attack, like just an absolute non-factor. And they've got plans for Montgomery. I mean, those 2 running back looks, he's running legit routes too. He's not just dipping into the flats. It's like a fallback planner and something like that. I really think they're going to tap into that too. And I like you said at the top, that's why they gave him real money. That's why they let like a heartbeat of the locker room and a guy who just had an amazing career season walk, is because they see more things that Ben Johnson can do with both of those guys. I think that's the strength of his Ben Johnson. If you can do something, he's going to use you in that department at least a couple times a game. And I think that was really the big shining light towards these 2 backs.
We've learned to trust Ben Johnson. Community. As an aside, Ben, if you can answer me this, because I just could not really grasp why the Lions dislike DeAndre Swift so much. They just seem to really not trust ask the same thing. And so, if you have any insight on that, please tell me, because I have spent unbelievable amounts of time trying to figure out why.
I think it got to a point with the frustration. Like, they loved the idea of what DeAndre could do for them 17 games a year. It just got to the point where it's like 2 different regimes, 2 different head coaches. Dan Campbell and his staff took 2 vastly different approaches to his off seasons through their 2 years with him. And it just the same, a really electric yet guy they couldn't depend on week in and week out. And once you got to the regular season, DeAndre Swift wasn't practicing. And say what you will about that, but he just wasn't available. You really, when I would go on fantasy for like quick hits on fantasy, is DeAndre playing this weekend? I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea. So I think it was just at a point where it was like, there needs to be a fresh start for both sides here. You are super talented. Like, good luck sending you home, sending you to a great team. Maybe the only other team that might have a better offensive line this year. But it just got to a point of frustrations. And I think with Deuce leaving, I think there was a chance at just like a fresh start for them to really build the backfield the exact way they wanted. And I think Gibbs being a fresh guy out of college, they trust that availability, even though it's a rookie, a little more than what they've seen from DeAndre for 3 years. Great electric player. I mean, still might be something more, but it just got to the point where it's like, maybe you need to go somewhere else too.
It's not us. It is indeed you. Ben, I'm pretty sure I've asked you this question, but you do play fantasy, correct?
Deep.
That's what I thought.
We're in like year 22 of like a league right now. So yeah, I'm all about it. College fantasy too. Psycho.
Oh my gosh.
AL auction keeper leagues. Like,
well, there we go. There we go. Denny has no idea what the AL. Denny will never know what the AL is. but yeah, it's sicko stuff. So I was pretty sure you were a fantasy guy.
Yep.
I'm going to put you on the spot. Who is scoring, let's say, more PPR points in 2023, Jahmyr Gibbs or David Montgomery?
David Montgomery. I think he's like Denny was kind of getting to. I think he's still going to be involved in the passing attack enough. And I really do think, I mean, if this is a healthy David Montgomery and you get at least 4 of those offensive line starters for like most of the season, I really think he's going to have like a double-digit touchdown, 1,000 yards, going to get looks in the passing attack, and not just as an afterthought or as a last-ditch effort. Like, I really think they see a vision with him. And it's kind of crazy how young he still is, and kind of, I don't know. I really like the fit with Montgomery in this Detroit offense. I'm thinking this is like a real breakout year for him.
Yeah. From your lips to God's ears, please.